So
Ringo, that's how Ringo wrote it
Tell
up.
people what Marshall Fields
He was working
is.
there.
It's the Macy's of Chicago, but now it literally is the Macy's of Chicago because they bought Marshall Fields. So on State Street in Chicago, that great street that Sinatra sang about, it's a city block. An entire city block is this store. They've got little windows they do for the holidays. People come on over and see and check them out. There's a huge green, probably it was copper, now it's green, clock on the corner of Washington and State, and it's huge. I mean, it's 14 floors. So after,
Holy shit!
As I talked about in the last episode, I was a federal agent. We went through that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So when after 9/11 and they moved out to the suburbs and I couldn't be an agent anymore, I know.
I'm just going to stop being a federal agent.
I had to turn in my badge. I remember I just wanted the guy, I might have said this, but I wanted my boss to just throw me against the wall and call me a loose cannon, make me turn in my badge. But it was real yeah, just leave it there. And so I turned in my badge.
Put it in my paper bag.
Right. And I had a guy who I had met through people that I worked with there, and he wanted to become a cop, but as most people do, not most, but a lot of people who want to be cops, they get jobs in security. And so he was a secret shopper, a loss prevention officer.
I know all about loss prevention.
At Marshall
Losing
Fields.
shit my whole life.
At Marshall Fields. And so he said, "Oh, dude, you should come over here and work. We're hiring seasonal people, and then they'll probably keep you on." And so I went over there and interviewed. Now, I'll break it down for people. Like I said, it's a city block. The basement floor, it's the lower floor, I guess, is housewares.
I was going to say furniture and shit.
Yeah. There is, but this is literally all housewares, an entire floor of housewares, and then the other half of the floor is like a food court, okay?
It's like a Harrods then. In
yeah,
London.
and then there's access to the subway, the Chicago subway system. There's access to that through that lower level. It's a little pedway.
Oh, so you can snatch and grab.
Oh, that's a thing. Yeah.
Snatch and grab, man.
Yeah. First
We
floor.
got snatch and grab in the basement, man.
First floor, you got coats. Now, there's a reason I'm telling you all. There's coats. There's an atrium. There's where all your makeup is and all this stuff. There's big Christmas trees, right? And then every floor has different themes to it. Kids are on 5. There's an entire bridal shop on 4. And
We got a snatch and grab and bridal.
they've had this stuff there since the 30s.
Did he snatch or did he grab? He's doing both, man. He's snatching
What
and
is the way he's running, man? Get his ass.
God, man.
I am
I'm
not running.
to say that he's running. I meant he snatched and grabbed and
If he
ran.
gets to the food court, he's out. We got to snatch and or grab. So
He's on the L train.
you get up to the 7th floor. Now you got the Walnut Room. This is a 5-star restaurant. It's got this 40-foot Christmas tree in it. Everybody comes for the holidays.
No shit.
They
It's
come
like
to
a
see the-
city itself.
It is. And
It's a 5-star
yeah,
restaurant.
Floors 8 and 9, furniture showrooms. And I mean just furniture. You'd go up there and be like, oh, man, we got a homeless guy. sleeping
Hold on a second. You're telling me the 2 furniture showrooms have furniture?
all over the well, one of them is set up
Homeless
for the
dude
reason I
sleeping on a water
the
bed
reason
and
I
shit.
distinguish is because one is set up like showrooms, like this is your living room all done.
Yeah.
The other is just literally random fucking couches
okay.
all over the place. Now,
So it's like that shit upstairs.
yeah,
This is how you could organize it.
What's on
10th
10,
floor,
man?
offices. Okay. 11th floor, offices. 12, 13, 14, factory. Because they used to make chocolates up there, Frango mints. And they would make these, and this was an entire chocolate factory. This thing moved out in the mid-70s. Nobody touched it. This is haunted. It just was creepy as shit.
3
Lights
floors.
didn't work. Yes. Okay.
I heard they shut down. There was so many snatch and grabs going on. Up there. We had
You
to
guys,
lock it
we,
down.
we would have cases. We're working there. We got people stealing, we had somebody stealing Swarovski crystal and Fabergé eggs. And so they went on eBay, found one of the eggs, bought it, won the auction. Big day when we won the auction. Won the auction. Had it shipped.
Loss prevention, man, coming through.
Had it shipped.
You're some normal person trying to bid on this thing, and unbeknownst to you, goddamn loss
Right.
prevention is trying to outbid you
Man,
by a
I'm telling
penny.
you got to get in on that. Yeah.
This guy's like, why is he going so high? It's not worth this.
So they have it delivered to somebody's house, and then they bring it to police station, and these idiots didn't wear gloves or anything when they put it in the box, so they had their fingerprints, and they ended up catching the people. We had guys who they would hide in the store, wait till about 3 a.m. when the only people there were the uniform loss prevention people who wore little fake cop outfits.
Okay, now here's my question. How many of you are covering a 14-story building?
8 to 10 at a time, depending on the busyness of
really?
the store. Yeah.
So-
and you would literally just wear whatever you want, and you would walk around all day pretending to shop. So you became
For
good
how many
friends.
hours a day?
Oh, 8 to 9. Yeah. Depending on how big of a,
So basically
big they
one
wanted
of
it
you
to be.
per floor because the other three
But you
are
always go in
haunted.
friends because you need to look like a couple of buddies, or you need to look at
I
a
see.
couple. So
Did
and
you
then,
ever like find yourself actually just getting wrapped up in it and start shopping?
I
Like,
found
what the
some
fuck
great
am I
deals.
doing?
Hey,
Are you allowed to
a lot
buy
of
shit?
things.
while
Oh
you're
yeah,
there?
yeah.
I need batteries.
Oh, and the other thing is when you're loss prevention, your job is also the people who work there that are stealing.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the people who are stealing,
Sure.
and then you have incidents in the restaurant. We had old guy fell into the grate of the escalator, just peeled his hand back.
good.
Yeah, but you have like you were saying, it's like a city. Everything is happening in this store.
Yes.
Okay, and everybody I'm working with wants to be a cop, so they are hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
Binfa, this guy Binfa, hardcore about this.
White
stuff.
guy?
Nope, he was like an Arabic Spanish guy. And he just was like, don't fuck around. And then we had this other guy, Bill. Bill was like this big, like, third generation police department. And he was waiting to take his test. And when I got there, he goes, you pick your desk, buddy. And I'm like, all right, I'll go over here. He's like, do not sit there. That person got fired. That desk has bad juju. And so he was, and then they had a command center. It was like 7 35-inch tube TVs. Because they hadn't figured yet. And you could see everything in the store. And 1 hour of your day when you weren't walking around was you had to rotate and be the person at the command center. Like, because everybody had radios.
Yeah.
So and they had a code for everything, right? So like, and you had a number. So my number was 81, right? So
Nice, Randy
80
Moe with the pattern.
Yeah, that's right.
81, 81, what's your 20?
Send the freak down on 9.
Yeah. What's your 20, 81? And we don't have earpieces. You literally have the little like over-the-shoulder cop deal. We're like, 81, what's your 20? I'm like,
While you're shopping?
yeah, but you'd have to hide it like in your jacket or
But
something.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I used to wear one too. But you had to
That's
wear
obvious.
a hoodie or something.
Right,
yeah.
so we would run it up like you clip it
Okay.
to your collar on
Trying
your
to pick
shirt
up a
and then
girl
put
in like
jacket over it.
magazines. I was on, what's your 20? Like,
Yeah.
Would you say every day something was stolen from that store? Had to be,
Every
right?
day.
Every day something
Every
had to
day.
be. There was
And we
never
had-
a day where nothing was taken.
And there were codes for the people who were in the store, okay?
mm-hmm.
So, a white person was a 99. We got a 1099 over on 5th floor Children's.
I got a 1099 every year
Yeah.
for like this corporate gig,
Black person, 1098.
Always one
Hispanic
less
person,
fucking racist motherfucker.
1097. 1096, Asian or other. And
Or
so-
other.
Yeah. So you would say, like,
know, he looks Pan-Pacific.
I got a 1098 female,
86, man.
along with a 1097 male. They're currently walking through, and the whole store is broken up by quadrants. So, like, they're to East Randolph, east side of the building, Randolph side, Randolph
Man.
end. Yeah, and so you would say to everybody, like, "Where, yeah," and then
Southwest.
they had codes for
over
everything.
here. I got
You
a 96, a
Yeah.
96.
yeah, you 1019 me. And they're like 1036. We got a 1036. That means we think that they put something in their bag. They had codes that you had to learn for every single thing. And I'm just a kid going to college, and I'm like, you
You're a
guys are
federal agent, man.
yeah, but even that was a joke. I'm like, this is really intense, like really intense. So one day they sit me down. I've been there about a week, and we've had stuff of the guys stealing suits in the middle of the night. And they run. I mean, stealing like $5,000 in suits. Right?
Ever any loss prevention people steal?
Oh, at all. I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
Wasn't me. Not on my watch.
Right.
So they go, hey, look, Dan, we didn't tell you this when we hired you, but there's another part of your job you got to take care of. And I'm like, okay, what's this? They're like, well, it's not a commonly known thing, but since the mid-'60s, Marshall Fields has been an underground meetup for people looking to have sex. It's mainly homosexual sex. It's mainly guys, but it's guys and girls too. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, it used to be that people couldn't come out. That's how our society was. That was a life you kept in the shadows.
Bill's breaking down society over
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't for me to judge, but we can't have that happening over in the store.
Caught 2 guys fucking in a nightgown rack last week.
So I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what do you mean?
Full blown snatching.
More of a grab and grab. so I'm
A
like,
guy and a girl, that was a snatching.
so I go. Now, if you're lucky, we're going to find ourselves a snatch and snatch.
That's the one.
We let them go. Let them play that out.
We watched that up on the monitor for about an hour.
Ask them to move left so that camera 48 can pick that up. So So I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, but
We got a 1069.
A couple of
over in the men's suits department.
code for everything, man. They have a couple of meeting places. So they say, well, interested parties, what they tend to do is they meet at the atrium, kind of feel each other out. Then they'll go to the second floor bathroom. That's your main bathroom, okay? And I'm like, all right. And they're like, so what you need to do basically is just every hour, just go in each bathroom on each floor and just make sure that nothing's happening there. I'm like, okay. So I do this for a little while.
Perfect for
I'm
you,
not
man.
picking up anything. And one day, probably within my first 2 weeks of being there, I'm finally learning all their codes. You know, I'm 10:19 from lunch. Means you're back from lunch. If they say, I'm 10:07, I'm on lunch, whatever. So I walk in the bathroom, nothing. Another bathroom, nothing. I walk into the children's 5th floor bathroom, and I open that door. And there is a 1097 going to town on 1098. And that 1098 had an anaconda of a cock. I've never seen a dick this big in my life. I mean, it looked like it was beating this 1097.
Wait, 1097's Asian or other?
No, Hispanic.
Oh, Hispanic.
Yeah, and the 1097 is down on his knees, and this 1098 just got his hands on his hips. And they're in front of the urinals. They're not even in a stall. They're not even in a stall.
God.
I walk in, and I go, what are you doing? I come out.
Don't you know we can't come out in society?
I come running out. I go, 81 to base. 81 to base. They're like, go 81, go. And I'm like, they're like, what's the code, 81? And I'm like, like, 81, give the code. I'm like, there's no code for what I just saw.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
I go back in. I'm like, gentlemen.
Now they're gentlemen. They've got top hats on.
Gentlemen. They go flying past me. They both come running out. I come running after. I go, 81 to base. I'm following a 1097 and a 1098. 1097's going down the escalators. I'm start chasing 1098 through the thing. 1097 is in the middle of this atrium, going back and forth down the escalators, running. He ends up getting out. I'm chasing 1098. He's going down through the back escalators.
I would chase him too. That big dick, he can't be as quick. No way.
It is Christmas time. Okay.
Oh my God.
Now remember how I told you
The first Noel.
Get that big dick son of a bitch! Right there, that
all three
98!
ships come sailing in on Christmas Day. On
Caroling.
Look, honey, a dwarf. So, a little elf. So then, so remember I told you we had uniformed security guards?
Yeah.
Okay. APO guards, that's the uniformed security guards. They're APOs, asset protection officers, because you can identify them. This 1088 comes running through men's cologne towards men's coats on the first floor, and all of a sudden APO Garza just comes around from the other side, leaps, tackles him over a table of Christmas presents into trees.
Shut your mouth.
There's video of it. Takes out 2 trees. And I'm like, oh my God, cool, because I've seen this man. I know what this guy's packing.
Yeah.
We take him back up to we have like little holding areas for people on the 10th floor where our offices are. And we take him in there.
I tackled the big son of a bitch in the goddamn fucking Douglas firs,
We
man.
sit him down. He's like, come on, man. Let me go. I'm like, dude, he's doing it in the kid's bathroom, man. I'm like, the cops are on their way, okay? Now, there's something to know about if you're in downtown Chicago. That's District 1. And the cops who work District 1 don't have to deal with shit because almost no violent crime happens in District 1. It's
The
all
only
Michigan
district,
Avenue.
probably.
Yeah.
It's Michigan Avenue. It's like there's pickpockets. I'm sure there's fights and stuff like that once in a while, but there's not. It's not a neighborhood really. So there's not a lot happening. So I'm like, these cops get here. I mean, you're gone, dude. You do this in a fucking you can live whatever life you want to live, but don't do this in a bathroom in a public place, let alone a children's floor. And,
You believe this, Bill?
I saw the whole thing. So the cops come walking in. I'm like, officer, how you doing, officer? He's right here. Cop walks in. The only thing this cop says to this guy, the only thing he cares about is he goes, how you doing, man? And like he's like, fine. And he's like, I just gotta know, did you nut?
Come on.
Shut.
all
I
they
was
wanted
thinking
to-
in my head, but I'm like, no way, that guy's.
And he goes, no, man. And then he's like, don't seem worth it to me then. The cop, like, that's all the thing that he cared about. Dude, this happened all the time.
And like if kids would have walked in, that dude would be automatically both of them are sex offenders.
Oh, yes. This stuff happened all the time.
Did you not?
We once caught a lawyer who was Christmas shopping with his family. And he just was like, you guys go out, I'll do my own thing. Then he went into the bathroom and started fooling around with the guy. And then we had girls doing it too. One time, they were like, I feel dumb for doing this now. But one time they were like, 81, we think there's business going on in the third floor bathroom. And I'm like, all right. So I go in there, like, go in there.
Are you shell-shocked to go in again?
I'm like, what am I going to see here?
The first one, dude, pretty jarring.
I'm like, I've never told this story. I go into the third floor, and they're like, go in there, just check it out. And I'm like, what do you mean to just walk in there? They're like, no, just go in there, like, sit down in a stall, just see if anything's happening. So I walk in.
Is it a men's room?
Yeah. I walk in, and, there's just some little bit of activity in there. A couple guys, a couple stalls. I'm like, what the hell? So I sit down in one. I don't even pull my pants down, just sit down in the stall. All of a sudden, I see under the thing, like, 3 little fingers come under there, and then, like, a little tapping foot, and I'm like, huh? And the guy, he does it again, and then all of a sudden, a little head pokes out from under, and it's this little 1097, and he's, like, smiling, like looking up at me, and I'm like,
I struck gold over here.
I'm like, 81 degrees.
They got me.
I'm currently undercover in the stall and I'm being propositioned. Like, go with it, 81.
Yeah. No, they didn't.
Just don't nut. It's not worth it.
Oh, man.
My God.
Oh, God. I
put his filthy fucking face down on that nasty ass.
I walked him out. I walked that guy out, man. There was a... I'll leave this story on this just because it's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. So we had a guy who... He reminded me of like Bernie Mac. He was APO 100. I don't even remember his first name, but he was just this elderly statesman 1098. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just a nice guy. And he would come in after church sometimes on his day off just to see how his officers were doing, and just always to the nines.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Church
the
day.
Multicolored suits. It just looked perfect, and just one of the nicest guys. So one day he had to like cover somebody and work the third shift because, like I said, there's only like 2 or 3 officers there overnight. They just kind of hang out and make little patrols every once in a while. And so he's there on, let's say, a Thursday night. He does the overnight to Friday morning. Friday morning, a guy, it was 10:33, I think was his, or 10:30. His name was Chris, but 30 was his number. He comes up. He's the first one there. It's about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. He walks up, elevator, gets off on the 10th floor. Elevator opens. There's APO 100. This Bernie Mac, gentleman of a man, up against the wall, shirt just like ripped, untucked, shredded, breathing. And he's like, what the fuck? He looks to his left, and there's some just like shambles, kind of like tweaker-looking guy asleep, just laying there, asleep. He goes, the fuck happened here? APO 100 caught this guy in the store trying to steal shit about 2 o'clock in the morning. Took him up to the elevator to take him to the little holding room. When they got off the elevator, they started fighting. And they got into an all-out fight. He got out of his cuff or something. He got into an all-out fight, and they fought for 6 hours.
No, fuck.
Yes,
like
they would fight until, you know, when you get a fight, like, you tire out actually pretty quick.
Yeah.
They got,
once that adrenaline's out,
so they fought until the adrenaline dumped, and they were exhausted, and then the guy would get up to go and try and get back to the elevator, take it out, and the APO would be like, oh, hell no. They'd get up, and they would just fight again for a while until they were too tired. There's tape of it, them fighting for 6 hours.
That's
like,
gotta be surface.
Laying there against the wall, being like, don't you do it, motherfucker. Don't you get up. You get up. You get up.
I still got some left.
I'm going to take your ass back down. You get your ass up. I'm going to take your ass back down. If the guy would go to get up to try to get back to the elevator to get out, and APO and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Shut up, dude. That's badass.
Why, when he was down, would you just cuff him at that point?
They were in the middle of a fight. I don't know, man.
Oh, my God.
Maybe he couldn't get in the holding room. Like, I'm just going to hold you in this elevator, and that's where you're going to wait.
Can you imagine, though, fighting somebody so long that it becomes a deal where you're taking rounds? You're like, we got a break for a minute. We got a break for a minute.
Yo, let me take a time out here, man. Let's go. Listen, let's hit the food court. We'll grab a snack. Get back at this.
Man.
Yeah. There's so many
before we leave this, I have some questions.
Yeah.
One, the dude that tackled the guy into the Doug Furs.
Yeah, APO Garza.
Yeah. Was he like, did you guys watch his video and like replay like 100 times?
100 times. People who were off
Was
that
he in
day
there
were excited.
admiring
Come in
it
here.
and shit, too?
Come in here. You got to see APO Garza take this son of a bitch out.
Did he knock
What'd
any
you
of the
say?
gifts?
Sick?
Go ahead.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
I said, was he in there admiring it too?
Oh, hell.
Yeah, like
he
loved
full
it.
extension.
He's got a reel, dude. He's got a reel.
He's like, you know, in his mind, he's like, this is probably the only chance I'm ever going to get
And
to tackle
part of me is
somebody
like-
over a table.
He
in
played
the
special
tree.
teams for the Bears for like 2 years off
An
that.
open
he'd have
field
missed it.
tackle, man.
Yeah, he probably timed it up. Be like, I'm going to time this motherfucker
Yep.
up to the trees.
I got this.
Did
guy.
he knock anything off the gift table?
Yeah, they cleared the whole thing. Yeah. I'll never, for the rest of my life, I'll never forget.
Those
There is no
APOs.
code for what I just saw.
Dude, that is great.
What about the chocolate factory? Did you guys go hang out
Oh,
with it?
yeah,
I mean,
we would go
is
up.
it still that store?
It's
is still
probably,
there?
I mean, Macy's owns it now. It was Marshall Fields when I was there.
Yeah.
But Macy's owns it now, so I don't know if they've cleaned it out or gutted it. But literally, it's like somebody just kind of picked up in the 70s and left. So there's weird decorations and stuff. But since it was built in the, I don't know, probably 40s or 50s, it feels even older than that because
Yeah.
it's just all this old machinery and it's just straight up completely abandoned.
So it's
And-
closed to the public, but you had access, obviously, because you
You
were.
would go, well, yeah, and no, you could get, people could find ways up into that. So we would sometimes have to go and be like, hey, we heard somebody was walking around up there. And like you were saying, we would have on the first floor, people would come in off that pedway from the subway, grab like 3 mixers and
Snatch
go
and
running
grab.
right back out.
Bang.
Yeah. The amount of different things, I don't know if it's smart to say this, but I'm currently writing a pilot about my time there.
I mean, thank God.
Because
yeah.
it's kind of
This
like
is
it's like
its own-
Brooklyn Nine-Nine meets The Office because you can't hire
Or
you've got to
Superstore.
look
You know
like
that
a
show,
regular
Superstore
normal
that's
people.
coming out?
Mm-mm.
Saying it's like takes place in a superstore.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
this is different. I don't think
Because
it's
these are all like wannabe cops. Oh, guys, it was.
But shit, I don't know any cops that would have done with those. With that 6-hour fight. Who's doing that?
I think after a while it became a point of pride.
That guy was like, I'm not letting this motherfucker go.
goddamn.
And if you knew him, you know, like with like that, he always had the nice, like not too big but not too small gold bracelet. That
Yeah.
kind of guy, just the perfect around. I'm like, I told that motherfucker, go shit yourself. Like that kind of guy.
yeah.